Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again to another episode of the Hard Cannon Podcast. I'm your host, Epic Ray, and we are back for more talks, more laughs, and more deep dives into the world that's around us via cinema, literature, or even history. And we're going to be talking about one doozy of a topic because it is one of the most talked about games in history. Is one of the most controversial games due to gameplay, story, and overall just effectiveness. And we are talking about The Last of Us 1 and 2. Now, just to make sure that we are getting a consensus here, we are talking about Last of Us 1 and 2, the game, not the show. And just to make sure that we all understand, we will be talking about spoilers in the game, talking about going from gameplay to the characters, the story, and overall, and even the ending itself. So if you have not doing any of these things, you want to remain spoiler free, please take this time, turn off that video, turn it off, go watch a video, watch the history of it, because I'm pretty sure there's 1,000 of them on YouTube. And then come back to this video, because guess what? It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, and we're not going anywhere. But for right now, let's get into this perfect, beautiful subject. And I'm joined by one of my best buddies, and by my best buddies in the world. Sparks, how you doing?
Hey, great to be here for, I guess we got renewed for a second season of episodes. So, good to be part of this. Love The Last of Us. Played it since launch, and I've played every single remastered one, and I will get into my spicy takes on that later. But happy to be here. Happy to be talking about one of my favorite games of all time, let alone half the country's favorite game at this point. But take us away. Let's do it. Hard cannon time.
So let me ask you this. Like, if you had to estimate, like to get a good estimation, what would you say? Like, how many hours have you put into this game? Like, and there's no need to be embarrassed here, folks. We put so many hours in so many games. It's ridiculous how many hours we put in there.
Oh, it's kind of terrifying to look at the hours you can put into some games, and it's wonderful. At the same time, it's a bragging right. That it's fun to see, to this day, and then I'll jump right into it. My favorite story with hours is Minecraft. Minecraft has over 1,000 hours on it.
Nice.
And but if we're talking The Last of Us, the first one definitely passed 100 hours. The second one, not as many. I've done maybe 2.5 playthroughs of The Last of Us Part 2, and I think that says a lot for the climate, the games, and we'll get into all that. But the first one, over 100 hours, easy.
And like it, I think it different. It's a change, especially when it comes from Last of Us 1 and 2, because Last of Us 2, in all sense of it, is a much longer game than Last of Us 1. So I can understand why people's playthroughs would be a little bit shorter than we are on the for The Last of Us 1 versus 2, because you can cruise through The Last of Us 1 and possibly, I think the speedrun record is possibly, maybe 4 or 5 hours, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
the way it's segmented off into chapters too, it's so quick. Like you even just glancing, you could be like, "Oh, I know this part, this part, this part," and then it ends here. Last of Us 2 is way longer.
Oh, for sure. I don't know what the speed run is for that, but it's I'm probably guessing maybe back the 8 or 9 hour mark, possibly. It felt that way. It felt that way waiting for the game to come out, honestly, because people were demanding it for the longest times. Like, you're giving us 3 remasters. Where's the game? Where's the road?
Yeah, and they continuing. I love you, Daddy. I just want some more Last of Us. That's all I want. I want to see what happens to Joel and Ellie, Daddy.
And it is such a good game. And like, what drew you to the game the most? I'll give mine afterwards. But what drew you to the game?
So I remember, may this convention rest in peace, the E3 Game Expo. That used to be. Now everybody's got their own shit. They got the State of Play. Xbox has whatever. I never pay attention. Nintendo Direct. But back in the day, we were all united on XPlay and E3, and we would all jump on the YouTube live streams, and we'd see each trailer. Everybody was connected. All the Nintendo, all the PlayStation people. And I remember, we're going way back now, when E3 released the first trailer for The Last of Us. And I had already been a big Naughty Dog person. And this is a great example of just brand loyalty, because I barely knew anything about it. But what I did know is I had enjoyed every Naughty Dog game prior to that. The Jack series, Crash Bandicoot, Uncharted. Uncharted 3 had just wrapped up because they were working on Uncharted 3 at the same time as The Last of Us. So, fun fact, if you're an Uncharted friend or anybody listening, the third game feels so messy and rushed because half the team was split working on The Last of Us.
Ah, okay. That does
So
make
I've been in
sense.
this from day one. I saw that first trailer, and it had. I'm trying to remember now if it was either a teaser, it might have been both. They did a teaser where Joel and Ellie are teaming up, and he clicks the gun, and you see the clicker come at him, and that was it. And then they had the first gameplay reveal, which was that entire Pittsburgh hotel sequence, just sneaking around, showing how it's going to work. And you have to remember, for the time, that was revolutionary. The sneaking, the AI, when that wasn't a bad term, the AI working through these characters to move them around and follow Joel. And I remember it's the first game I saw where Joel took aim, even in the demo, and he clicks his gun. There's no bullets in it, and the guy goes, "He's out of ammo." And I thought that was the most high tech shit.
You know, and like they with a lot of games, like up until that point, when you ran out of ammo, you just automatically like and reloaded. This game showed you the consequences of not having the rounds with you, because they're also putting you in a
Yes.
time period of like, okay, your supplies are limited. Humanity has fallen, and what you find on the ground, what you're able to make from just like your mindset to the what you can find scattered, that is what you have. So you're not just going to find some supply box like, oh, we got 300 rounds in here, or oh, look, we got the tool that we need for this. Like, no, you are scrounging for what you need, or you are taking from those who have it and using it for yourself. Or in the case of Bill,
Which
you
was a
got an
hell of a
entire,
jump from Uncharted.
or in the case of Bill, you have an entire like stock full of the stuff that you took from your neighbors and everything. Like, but we'll go into that later. But
Absolutely. Yeah, no, because it was a jump from Uncharted. Because Uncharted, you had like never ending ammo. You could shoot for forever, and if you knew if you were out of ammo, you were going to get like 10 million rounds from the next three guys you killed.
bingo. And like, I think the sequence you're talking about for the hotel, I think that was the teaser where she gives him the ammo and then they're running out of the hotel. I think that is the teaser.
Yep, no, that's it.
And then
That's
like
exactly
the
it.
gameplay is the gameplay trip. But
Yeah,
so
that's
uh,
the one.
so just jumping into the game, we're gonna work our way backwards. So we're gonna start with Last of Us 1. How did you feel
Let's
about
do
the
it.
ending, playing it for the first time? How did you feel about it?
Okay, so this is such a fun concept, and it contributes to the 100 plus hours. Is that I have been able to relive that story and that ending as I've aged. Because the first time I was still I was a teenager. That game came out in 2012 or 2013. No, 13. 13, final answer. I think. No, it was earlier than that. It had to be 11.
I th-
Sorry, I'm trying to get
Hold
my
on,
years right.
keep going. I
Yeah.
will use my
Yeah,
catalog and book
fact
and
check
take a
me.
look.
Yeah, please fact check me. But what I will say is, when I first played it as a kid, I didn't understand Joel. Who could? It's like any time in your life when you're playing something as a youngin and you think, or a movie, and you think you understand these concepts. You don't. You don't. You understand them to the best of your abilities. And so I was more on the side of Ellie, like, what the hell? He robbed her of that? That was really rough. But it's funny, the older I get, whether that's just life experience or replaying the game and catching things, I side with Joel in that ending. The older I get.
I agree with that. So I have it here in our records. The Last of Us first released on the PS3, which is the first version it came on, not the
Oh,
PS4, the PS3. It was June
ancient
14th, 2013. So you were correct the first time.
2013. Wow. Yeah, it was a wow. The PS3 with them Spider-Man 3 font on the side of it. But yeah. No. The that. Thank you for fact checking me. But that's been my biggest takeaway. Is the older I get, the more I side with Joel, and I think he did no wrong. I know he killed a shit ton of people, but it was kill or be killed. I don't know how much you want to get into that part right now, but all I'm going to say is I side with Joel as I get older.
So like when it comes to like the very first my very first playthrough of it, here's the thing. when I got into that room, and I'm talking from the point when you go into the room and Ellie's being worked on, and I'm gonna talk from there all the way
Yeah.
up to when he talks to her at the end. The the thought of it, like, I'm thinking at this point as just a gameplay player. This guy is an objective. He is in the way of my objective. I must remove him. And that is what I did. Now, in my second playthrough, I'm thinking at this from this point as a dad. I'm not a dad, but I'm thinking this as a dad. You are taking away my kid. To you, she's just a subject. She's just something that you're taking from, not realizing regard of who she is, her personality, what she's gone through to get to this. I've been there every step of the way. I've been there to when I had to take her. We built a relationship together, whether it was a couple of months or an entire year. We have built something strong. And we have created a bond that's not going to be just broken because you just want to take you just want to take what you need for her. And I remember the voice actor for Joel, he basically said, I didn't understand the concept of the ending until I had a son. And to realize it was like, say what?
No, I just agreed. I was like,
And it's like, to you, like, you're risking the world. But that person on that table, that person is my world. And for you to take the world from me means you have to come through me. And that is Joel in the ending in that hospital. You are trying to take away something that matters more to me than anything in the world. And in order for you to understand that, you have to have gone through the things we've gone through. So you cannot tell me how I should feel in this situation. You cannot. Because I promise you this, if you've gone through the things I've gone through to protect that one person on that table and who she is, you wouldn't be doing this right now.
you also have to factor in. Oh, go ahead.
And then, so I changed my mindset, like, consistently, and like how I feel about it. I get it. He went through that hospital and he slaughtered all those guys. I watched the TV show version and I watched the gameplay version. He took to those guys, and the fact that one man went through that hospital and took down all those guys, one is a slack in their training. I gotta say this, because one guy went through the hospital and took down that entire team. Like, yeah. And also to think about this is that he risked it all to get Ellie back. And the fact that Marlene went down there and she was like, what are you doing? We need her. I'm like, did you not just see what I just did up there? What I went through? Like, I just blew through probably more than half of your team. Understand this. If I did all that just to get her back, what do you think I'd do to you? So, like, we can either let me go and not come after her again, or I'm going to put you down. And that's ultimately what he ended up doing. Now, fast forward to the conversation that I'm talking about right now. That conversation could have been handled a little bit more differently, and Joel, because like you and I both saw her face after he answered her. She knew he was lying.
She knew from day one.
Like, she knew, but she was willing to accept the truth for this time until either he was willing to openly explain everything, or the point came where he had to tell the truth. And with The Last of Us 2, we see that point coming up more and more as they're just gliding over the topic, and we're just like, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going and it got to a point where, like, you need to tell me the truth, because if you continue lying to me, I cannot trust you ever again. And even though he told her the truth, she respected him enough that you're willing to tell me, you love me enough that much that you're willing to tell me the truth. Now, I'm going to have some beef with you, obviously, but I respect you enough that you're willing to tell me the truth because you love me that much. And that's my take on it.
Yeah, no. And one thing that encapsulates pretty much everybody in The Last of Us, and I think this gets overlooked with the main, like, people focus the characters, not the situation. is the world even worth saving at this point? Because yes, we see the
Yes,
principles.
yes,
Yes, it's
yes,
about
yes.
Joel, and it's about Joel. And his, like you said, this is his world, and he said, yeah. But from the outside perspective, the world is already screwed. It's destroyed. We play the whole game, and we see that there are things worse than clickers at times. You got cannibals. You got very
Cults.
very creepy ass people. The Pittsburgh itself. So you say to yourself, okay, even if these fireflies, which we already know are limited, they don't have a lot of people, they're kind of, this is their last hope to save humanity. But how the fuck are you going to save it? How are you going to make any of that work? Because the systems, the world is already broken. Because people, let's face it, people suck. Not everybody. There's some great people out there, but the collective tribalism that game shows. Look at what we did for toilet paper in 2020,
Oh my gosh, bro,
and the
man.
world fell apart from that. So imagine on this scale, who would even trust a vaccine? How are you going to get it out to people? Who? How would you know? It's just, there's too many factors that make me say, no, I'm just going to save my surrogate daughter because the world is ruined already. We're just gonna. It's just, yeah. So I think that's another factor people have to think about.
There was a YouTuber that I saw, and like I'm gonna look up his video and I'm gonna tag his video in this episode when it gets uploaded. There was a phrase that I think was said in there, and the phrase was this: humanity lost its chance at a cure long before they were looking for one.
It's true.
And I was like,
It's completely.
and I sat down and I'm like, wow, like, and it basically means this: we were already on a downward slope before this virus even hit. And even after the virus is hit and tribalism is already taken over, putting a cure into the world will help some, but it will not help all. Because I'm pretty sure there will be people that will reject this cure, that will, one, like the things the way they are now, even though they are completely terrible in a lot of instances. I'm talking, and I'm even just talking about The Walking Dead. I'm not talking about Last of Us. I'm talking The Walking Dead. I'm talking about a whole bunch of other shows that have had like post-apocalyptic evidence of them having zombies, and I'm like, you're seeing the way things are right now, and you're thinking like, if a cure gets out there, do you genuinely honestly think people will be like, we have a cure, let's start rebuilding society? No, they've rebuilt society in their own image at this point. So the cure is basically you're making their way of life bearable now, because if they get bit or if they get attacked or something like that, they now have the cure to keep going and doing what they're doing. So I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Like, is the world worth saving at that point? Some would disagree,
And
yes. Some would say no.
I'm a hard no on that one.
Because like I can see you getting the cure and taking them to areas where people are thriving. There is some measure of like society and a system is working and it's good. It's not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect, but it's like you have a society that's willing to work and try and build something on people working together, a unity in this case. Or if I can take a page out of it, I'm thinking the Matrix Zion. They have a council of people that help them just make decisions, and the people are collectively working together to survive. I would give the cure to them because they have a system that is working and has been working for them. But if you're just some random cannibal cult, or like the ones that we have in The Last of Us 2, where they're basically just stringing up people on poles and just using them.
Oh, the Seraphites. Yeah.
Like you're so far gone. So the fact that if if the infected take you guys over, that's you guys lost. You guys already lost by the way you're thinking. So it's one of those things. Like I agree. I do ultimately agree. Like there are some places that were already far gone long before this cure was even thought of. So
yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going. But go ahead. Finish your thoughts. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and that's why I think that first game does a great job to show that.
I agree, and then there's guys like who, what is it? So each area that we went to and each season that we went through, it shows one that there are people that are surviving and trying to do well. So I'll take this in perspective. The what is it? It's the area, the sewage area. The I forget what it's called. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's from you're talking like the very end of the game or the beginning?
It's towards the middle when you're with Henry and Sam and you go through the underwater area.
Yeah, in Pittsburgh, and you find that's actually one of my favorite little subplots because it's completely player voluntary. If you want to read the lore on that place, or you just want to run through it, but basically, a fisherman named Ish was out on a boat during the whole apocalyptic situation, and you can find all his notes because he found if he was living alone in those stores, he had managed, but he didn't want to be alone. He wanted human connection. So he found some other people, welcomed them in. Before they knew it, they were building a community. And the notes start getting worse and worse as you start to realize somebody let an infected in. And it's a nightmare. There's that one horrific room where it's just one adult body and a shit ton of kid bodies because he killed them all. And he painted on the floor, they didn't suffer. Like, it gets deep.
Yeah,
It
that
gets
is.
deep.
A lot of gameplay I've seen of people in there. A lot of them just glance over it, so they don't even pay attention to it. I saw that my first playthrough, and I paused. I'm like, freaking wow.
Yeah. There are so many. This is something I do have to give a lot of credit to Naughty Dog for. Is they put a lot of subtle storytelling in their levels that you don't have to find. If you find it, great. Whether it's NPCs interacting and doing something else or just writing. There's a really fucked up one in Pittsburgh, and it's on one of the hotel walls, and it's like it looks like a man writing to a woman, and he says something like, "Please, whatever her name is, if you see this, like, please be safe." Take care of so and so, whatever. And then right under that, in like a more crude font, is somebody who says, "Don't worry, we took care of her," and it's really messed up. It's scary, but you got to look for that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think I know the way to. Oh man, oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. But it's all that extra stuff that furthers my point. The world was not worth saving.
And and then like we get and in Pittsburgh you get a somewhat like look into Joel's mind when you find that scene of the two people in the bathtub. Remember that?
Yep.
And you get a peek and like Ellie said, like it looks like they take the easy way out, and Joel's like, it's not easy. Like no matter what people tell you or what you may want to believe, it is not easy. And that gives us a deep look into Joel's mind. Like he was considering it, and they talk about it in the show that the reason he has one of his scars is because he literally missed. He missed.
Yeah. And I'm glad that the show expanded on that because in the game it's just hinted at, but yeah.
And like it shows that even like I've spoken to a lot of people like what would you do during a zombie apocalypse like thing, and they ask like, okay, what zombies are they? And I go over each one, and the one that seems like for a lot of people, even in all three instances, they tell me the exact same thing. I'm leaving. And I'm like, you're just going to
Yeah.
like no, they tell me like I am going to take myself out. And I'm like really? Like you're not even gonna try and survive? And like one friend pointed this out to me. She's like, why would I try and survive in a world where I have very little chance of one surviving, but two, the alternative is something much worse. And I took that to heart. I'm like, she's not wrong in any case. This and like I understood it. I get it now. Like some people can try and will survive, and there's some it's like, you know what, I'm not willing to see what this world's gonna be like at this point. Yeah.
Well, and that's why I think if we're talking canon events, like starting with Joel,
Yeah.
his canon event is obviously written with Sarah dying. That is the beginning of everything for him. That is his whole point of everything.
Yep.
It's distrust in humanity and society that we've been talking about already, where the military just made a call to shoot these people. We can't take a chance. And she was fine. And obviously that starts his hatred for them. It starts his self-loathing, his you don't even know what he wants until Ellie shows up. But he sums it up in that final line when he says, you got to keep finding something to fight for.
Yes.
So everything stems from that. And so if you bring up your point about people wanting to take their own lives during an apocalypse, and that was Joel's answer to the opposite. Is I just kept finding something. Well, he didn't do it right. He did his own path with that, but
Oh yeah,
his mentality was the same.
because it like, and you see that in like the conversations that he and Ellie have, like he was talking about what he did, like immediately right afterwards. He was in a triage, and then he left with Tommy to go north, and at that point his goal was to just stick with Tommy, and then ultimately he had his falling out with Tommy, and it's like, okay, what do I do now? My goal was to protect and look after my brother. He's gone now. What do I do now? Okay, I have Tess now. My goal is to make sure that she's okay, that we get through life together, we survive essentially. And then that ultimately brought him to Ellie. So he always, you're right, he always found something to fight for. Even when he lost the ones that he did, he kept finding something to fight for.
Mm-hmm. And that becomes more prevalent in part two, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
And then
But
we'll
yes.
let's jump into, since we covered Joel, let's go into Ellie's. Now, I think two of them, I think there's two for Ellie, but I could be wrong. I think that so the two I have for Ellie is one, her getting bitten while she was with Riley, and the second is her meeting Joel.
Oh yeah. And I would side with those 100%. It's ironic. The most important part for her actually comes from the DLC, because that Left Behind covers her whole reason of why she feels so. I have to fix this because. Can I make a tie-in to part two while we're at it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Ellie's constantly trying to justify things from start to finish.
Yes.
So as soon as she gets bit, she is trying to justify why she got bit, why Riley died, and she didn't. That's the entire thing she's got going on. So when Joel robs her of that choice with the Fireflies, she's left feeling meaningless. Hence her quote, "It can't all be for nothing," because that was her whole thing. How could all of this shit have happened if I'm not going to sacrifice myself? And then that continues, not that plot point, but the rest of her relationship with Joel is also a justification, because they end on a bad note, even if they were trying to make amends. Then he dies, and she is left. The only reason she wants to kill Abby, it's not for revenge, it's not for her, it's because Abby robbed her of closure with Joel, and she has to justify it.
Yep.
I'll drop my mic there.
100%, because like it goes the like even one of the last scenes in the Last of Us 2, they are, and this is literally the night before, they were like, you know what, let's try and work this out, let's try and reconnect again. And something tells me, and I believe this, something tells me that it would not have taken long. I give it a year at the most. They're hugging again. They're sharing secrets. They're talking with each other. They are having Christmas and dinner with each other. Like I can tell, like a year, and they would have made that work again. Because it took them a year to grow as close as they are. Now there was some damage in between those times, between the ending of The Last of Us 1 and the beginning of Last of Us 2. But there was so much history and trust between them that fixing it, I do honestly believe, would not have taken long. So,
I agree with you. And jumping into your second canon event with Ellie, meeting Joel changes her life too. Because for the first time, she has someone who's not going to leave her.
And like I agree with that 100%, because even though Joel was like, even though he was still learning to like her, she never left his side. She never left his side. And he made sure that you never left. If I have to leave you somewhere, it means I need to focus, and I cannot put you at risk, and I cannot be distracted from what I need to do. That's the only reason. If I leave you in a room somewhere or something like that, it's so I can focus and I don't need to be distracted by it. It is not that I don't trust you, or I'm putting you vulnerable. I'm making sure that I need to do what I need to do so that you are safe.
Well, that's the big thing you see throughout that first game, especially with the gun. that Ellie wants a gun. Give me a gun. I can shoot. I can this. And he won't. And it comes off on her side as very like, I don't trust you. Exactly what you said. But it's really just he doesn't want to lose her. He doesn't want to lose somebody like that again. And you're right that she stays by his side. One of my favorite moments is more from the gameplay than any of the cutscenes. And it's when Joel, Henry, Sam, and her are all fleeing Pittsburgh in that final level. And you're being chased by that godforsaken machine gun truck Humvee monstrosity. Oof. And Joel gets stuck at the bottom and he can't jump up. And he's just like, y'all just keep going. And she jumps down and says, we stick together. So she was already in the clear. And I thought it was going to be one of those levels like, we got to work on our own now without, no, but she joins you. And it feels like the connection is there before we even realize it.
One word: trust. We have established trust. You have my trust, and I'm slowly getting yours, but we are establishing trust. We already have reliability because guess what? We've gotten this far, but we still need work on trust. And the fact that she jumped down, even as you said, she was in the clear. I have trust. We are establishing trust. I'm not going to leave you behind. No matter what happens, I'm not leaving you behind. Why? Because we've built trust.
Mm-hmm. Endure and survive.
Endure and survive. I might get that as a tattoo, possibly. And lots.
Honestly, it'd be a cool tattoo.
And then we'll jump into another favorite character, Tommy. Tommy's a little bit difficult because we only see him in certain, like even in both games, we don't get a lot of conversations and talks with them. We only get one section of the game with him. Actually, scratch that. I'm mistaken. We get two sections of the game. We get him in the beginning and then when we're in Jackson, but they're very, very brief. But in the second game, we get the good front portion of it, and then we lose him throughout most of the game, and then we only get those. We only have a short time with Tommy. So I'm relying heavily on you for this because I'm not entirely sure I can have an accurate one.
I think the first canon event isn't even ever shown. It's just we have to believe it's there. Is when Tommy was surviving with Joel before any of this. They allude to the fact that Joel was a hunter, and for those of you listening who think that might just mean enemy, it's kind of just the term for humans who are not infected and steal shit from other people and hurt other people because they need to survive, whether more malicious or on the side of being a little more lenient. And Joel was one of those people. Tommy learned from him, followed after him with all that, and that's revealed a lot more in the Pittsburgh and Jackson arcs, where in Pittsburgh, Joel tells Ellie, because Ellie's like, how did you know that one guy on the road wasn't actually hurt? And he's like, I've been on both sides of that. And Tommy, later, when they go to the dam, he's trying to, get him to help with Ellie. Tommy says, I still got nightmares from all the things we did. So I think Tommy's first canon event is whatever heinous shit those two did trying to survive. And Tommy breaking out of that, he's a Firefly for a little bit, did some bad things as a Firefly too, and then he settles down with Maria. If we're talking Tommy from The Last of Us Part 2, I'm going to save that for later because I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not even an unpopular opinion. I'm going to rip that game a new one when we get to it, but we're not there yet.
And then, I think you even said it too, even when him joining the Fireflies and all that and everything, Marlene still thinks of him very fondly, but but this comes down to that conversation the two of them have when they're in that room together. Joel says, is this how you're going to repay me? And Tommy ultimately says, it's not his time as a Firefly. It's not even the time of him navigating from Boston to Jackson. The thing that hurts him, that keeps him up at night, that plagues him the most is the time when they left Texas to come to Boston. He says he has nightmares about that. Not his time the Fireflies or him leaving Boston to come there. It's that point. He has nightmares about it. That should tell you a lot in itself. It's one phrase spoken in their conversation that Joel does not even process. You got to understand what we did and how we did it. We are not good people. what I'm trying to do now in this community, and like what I try to do to Fireflies, I'm trying to make up for the things that we've done. I'm
Yes,
trying.
there's some redemption.
And whether I'm given a second chance or not, and I think he was given one when it came to Jackson and he found Maria, that is him making up for the things that he's done or he's trying to do.
No, I agree with that, and that's that level of redemption that you're seeing, where Tommy's redeeming himself through his actions, Joel is redeeming himself through Ellie. But you got to remember, these are not perfect characters whatsoever. They are not. They were never just on the side of good. They did what they had to survive, but that doesn't mean it was all polite.
They each have, and I can say this, each of them have their own moral compass that they're trying to find, and like, and in some ways their moral compass is very good, and some ways their moral compass is bad. It's bad. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's bad. But at that point, they're doing what they have to do the one thing that this game is basically ties this game in both games: survive. That is basically what they're trying to do. And with that on a note, we will jump into probably one of the most polarizing characters in the entire franchise, Abby.
Oh boy! All right, where do you want to start us off with this?
I think you have something on your chest right now. So go ahead and let me hear.
All right. Well, we're still doing canon events, so I'll pull my punches a bit. But Abby's canon event is obviously her father dying, and Joel taking that from her. And then she's redeeming herself as well, because when she kills Joel, which is, I would say, is her second canon event, she has nightmares about that. And those nightmares don't stop until she helps Lev and get the other kid's name. That in itself shows you that this game is not in my best place, because the first one, I can name all the characters, and then I'm like Lev and whoever the other one was.
There's way too many. There's way too many.
Yeah, but my point still stands, where she redeems herself, because she, by saving that child, she kind of begins her own Joel and Ellie arc at the cost of all our sanity. Don't get me wrong, we'll get there.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I would say those are hers, and obviously, well, Ellie sparing her at the end of The Last of Us 2 is more Ellie's arc than hers. Because I don't feel like Abby really, other than that redemption, she didn't really learn anything else. She just moved on with her life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Now I'm gonna talk about something, because I was thinking about this, and I was waiting to talk about this with you, because
what do you got?
So this is one something that, like, I remember I see streamers talk about this, and each of them have their own differing opinions about it. And I'm gonna talk about this with you. The reason I dislike Abby, and as much as a controversial take, it's not about her, what she was, about the killing of Joel. I don't like her for that. But that's number two. The number one reason I do not like Abby is because of what she did to Nell. And to people that don't understand what I did to Nell, I've seen what these type of relationships do to people, and it is something that is, oh god, like, I remember going through the gameplay and I'm like, the way this is going down, and like, you can see it from the interactions between her, Owen, and Nell, and Abby's staying silent about it, but she's like using her facial features and her eyes, and not her, usually her voice, to like, are you being serious right now? Like, she's right there. Like, are you serious about what you're saying right now? She's right there. And like, I'm in the camp of Nell should not have died. Because here's the thing. The entire time there's an interaction between the three of them, you can tell on Owen's face that he does not want to be a dad, and he does not want to be with Nell. He wants to be with Abby. And the fact that you have a kid on the way, and you're rejecting the woman who's about to bury your child, puts you in like, dude. And Abby even says this in the last time they converse and talk with each other. Get your priorities straight. she's the priority right now. She can barely fight on her own. She is carrying your child. Get your priorities straight. And the thing that even like baffles me even more is that, and I actually typed this into AI and tried to get like an answer for it. And I typed in, what if Nell survived the attack and then Abby finds out that she's pregnant by Owen? And I read the story that it ultimately sent me, and I was like, this is a rough story. Because here's the thing, it could have gone down two ways. Because if Nell survived the attack and she lost her kid and she found out that Abby was pregnant by Owen, the amount of hatred and the amount of like, I lost my kid, but you get to have a kid by him. Like the amount of anger that would have been there. Like I don't even want to know.
It would never end. It would never end.
And like even as we get to the point when Ellie ultimately confronts them, Nell is so ready to like, you know what? I'm gonna throw her under the bus. Like I don't care. My concern now is that I survived, my kid survived. Owen, screw you. I don't care anymore. Because obviously you don't care about me or this kid. And she was ready to sell Abby out until like, she's here. She's right here. Go get her. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Because right now, the guy that's supposed to be the father of my kid is willing to abandon me and my kid for somebody that does not want to be with him. And that's why the scene where Owen and Abby are hooking up hurts me so much.
I think you have every right to feel like that scene really hurts her character in terms of somebody we should be rooting for. And what gets to me, and I think this is just a reminder for both games as a whole, is actually something Tess says to Joel. And she goes, guess what? We're shitty people, Joel. And I think it's just a reminder everyone in this game is shitty.
Yeah.
There are seldom any characters that are just decent. Every single one of them, Joel included. The game plays with this whole, like, they've done some heinous shit, but they redeem themselves here. So how do you judge a person? Goes on and on. And that's why it's so hard with this game with canon events, because everybody's all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And you know, a lot of people. Are we talking narratives yet? Can I jump into a little bit of The Last of Us 2 and why I got beef with it?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So thank you. A lot of, obviously, everyone and their mother made a post about it and made essays and whatever. So I'm going to try not to say the things that literally everyone is saying, because also I don't agree with some of it. Some of it's just people being haters. Some of it's just not wanting to see another female protagonist or see, you name it. They didn't like the trans kid storyline. That's not why I didn't like it. I didn't like it because the narrative was all over the place. This plot did not know what it wanted to be and jumps and jumps and jumps because you have Ellie killing Joel. Ellie killing Joel. Abby. Abby kills Joel. And then you go, okay, it's a revenge plot. But then Tommy tells Ellie, like, oh no, we can't. Here, give me 1 second. What do you think of that for now? Just the narrative situation of that.
Are we talking about the first conversation or the second conversation they have?
The first, I would say, yeah.
So with Tommy's mindset, the afterwards of what happened, Tommy wants what Ellie wants, but the thing is, he is not willing to put more lives in danger because he does not want more Joels. And that point, he does not want to lose more people. Joel is his brother, blood brother. That is his brother, but he does not want to put more lives for the sake of our vendetta. This is our vendetta. We do not need to drag people into this. We do not need to sink more people into this. But in order to do it right, we are going to need more people. And now basically that statement right there, we're going to need more people. That was complete BS to me because Joel and Ellie took down basically Pittsburgh, just the two of them. They took down a cannibal cult of people, just the two of them. So that tells me like we're going to need more people. No. You just need me and you. That's it. We can probably take a couple people with us, but no. We have exactly what we need. Even Tess says this. Like Joel says, maybe we should have brought more people. It's like, no, we would have just slowed us down. And what happens? Tess and Joel find that guy, and they get all the way to DC, just the two of them. That tells you, like, do we need more people, or are we good enough by ourselves to get this done?
Well, and that explanation makes more sense than what I think they presented with their game, because obviously I unfortunately had the death spoiled for me from leaks, and then I played my first time through, and I was already a little bitter because of that.
Yeah,
On my
actually,
second
before we jump into more of it, I want you to go into depth of this, because we had a conversation. I remember us talking about this for like an hour and a half before, and like I want to get your full story. So yes, tell the entire story, because I want to actually hear this.
I got you. So this was during the pandemic, and everything was a mess already.
Ooh.
And I remember we were all predicting Joel was going to die. I just think we weren't ready to see how. And the moment that the leaks came out, because I had been following a lot of the hype pages and everything, and then everybody was talking about the leaks, and I said, "Oh shit, what came out?" Obviously, I had the main title, people were saying Joel dies, and I was like, okay, I kind of saw that coming, but curiosity got the best of me. I wanted to see how he died, and you see that scene of Ellie walking in and Abby murdering him, and you're just like, well, shit, man. And more leaks started coming out. It wasn't doing any favors. It was Joel's death. You saw this girl beating the shit out of Ellie in in their final fight, and then you see just paragraphs were coming out saying you're going to play as the girl who kills Joel. So a lot of people went into it hella pissed. I'm going to exclude all the bigots and those people. This is not part of that conversation, because I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, the woman had muscles, so I'm mad. I'm not going to do that. I know people did. That's their problem. And then rumors started, like people said, oh, is Abby trans? Because God forbid a woman has muscles. And we didn't have to take the argument there at all. And that brings me into actually playing the game. I had some beef on that first playthrough because of the spoiler of Joel dying, but more context didn't help at all. Like people said, oh, just wait, you see the more plot, you're going to love it. And I didn't. I thought it was poorly done, because I get it. The narrative split up like, oh, okay, we're going to learn more about that last conversation with Joel as time goes on and on and on. But it's how they set it up for him to die that bothered me, because he goes into this room. He's with Tommy. And they're like, oh, what are your guys? Like, they just trusted these strangers into this room, let themselves get boxed in, and then they just say their names like we're at a Sunday brunch. And like, yeah, I'm Joel, that's Tommy. And it just contradicts, to me. I know people justify, people say, oh, he's older now, he's calmer. But it contradicts the Survivor Joel that I remember from the first one, from that critically acclaimed game. Where he wouldn't reveal things. He would trust no one. Yeah.
So I also was thinking about this, and I wanted to talk to you about it. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to also put this out there. Had Tommy not said his name at all, but Joel said his, how do they know they found the right Joel? Joel is a very common name. How do you know you found the right one? Because there was no picture of Joel that they could go off of. All they had was some old guy with Ellie took Ellie away. They don't know what he looks like. The guys who do know what he looked like, they are gone and dead. They don't know what he looks like. It's been 5 years since you've seen him. How do you know you have the right Joel?
You know, this is one of my favorite arguments about this, because I side with you. Like, that could have been Joel Stevenson. He could have been nicknamed Joel, and he's actually whatever. And it drives me nuts because it's just bad writing. And I'm not afraid to say it. It's poorly written at times, not throughout the whole game. I think the gameplay of The Last of Us 2 is fantastic. fantastic. It's just the narrative is all over the place. You have characters that don't feel like themselves. You have like that Joel scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the initial concept art and concepts for The Last of Us Part 2, Abby was supposed to be a character that was introduced coming into Jackson. She was going to infiltrate Jackson, gain their trust, and then kill Joel, which I think would have been significantly better. It's that whole dramatic irony thing. We know who she is. He doesn't. And then we have maybe some explanation. She gets a reveal. She hears a little bit about him, and she's like, that's our guy. But to have him show up as a complete stranger, come into one scene with her, trust her fully, and just get killed, I thought that was terrible. I thought they could have done so much better. And then the narrative shifts because you thrust us into Ellie, and you say, all right, now you're on this revenge quest. All right, I can run with that. I've played revenge games before. A lot of games are revenge games. Shadow of Mordor, Assassin's Creed, every single one of them. But that's the main goal. And then the game has you going along all the steps of getting to Jackson or Seattle and going after her. And you finally you hit the apex of the story where you're about to meet the woman who killed Joel again and fight her. And then they just go to black, they rewind the clocks, and you have to play as Abby from the beginning. So all momentum, you just put the hard brake on that. And I say to myself and to anybody else, what desire do I have to keep playing this game right now? Especially on my first playthrough, because you were building me up, and now I got to start over. And I understand, get to know her. I just wish there was a way they could have made these stories coincide that didn't have this gap. And now I got to learn about her, and then I got to look at Ellie. Ellie's a douchebag, and she's the one I got to be rooting for. And it just it didn't work for me.
And to me, this could have been the Abby storyline. This honestly could have been just DLC or a small like side play game. This literally what it could have been. Literally a DLC.
Yeah.
They could have,
because all of that. Yeah, I agree.
So like, and I guarantee this. Like, if had it been a DLC, people would have bought it. They would have bought it for sure.
Yes. Sam, people buy anything Last of Us, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. They could re-release that game again and turn up the brightness by 2 things, and it would sell out. It would sell out. I'm not even joking. I gotta send you. I made a parody of this. I'll send it to you. But it's true. Think about it. It's like Last of Us and Skyrim are a lot more related than we think. You got Last of Us remastered on the PS4. Then you had Last of Us 2 comes out. No, Last of Us remastered. Did they do it for the PS5? No, not yet. Last of Us 2. Then they do Last of Us 1 and 2 remastered in a bundle. And then they just remastered 2 again. And you're like, what are you fucking remastered? You look at the side-by-sides of the screens, the same freaking lady. Like, nothing changed. There's dew on the grass? Like, what the hell else are you going to add? You're already at maximum high-definition 5K megabyte, whatever. And it just became embarrassing because we fell for it every time. We're like, oh, sure, I'll eat the same fucking ice cream again. And obviously
it's the same thing with Skyrim. But the thing is, here's the difference between the two. When it comes to Last of Us and Skyrim, they added in more quests. They added in more stuff. Not just graphics, but they added in more stuff. That's why people will come back and play Skyrim over and over again, because there's always something more and new that you can do with the game. With The Last of Us, you're remastering it. You're just fixing, like you said, a little bit of brightness here, a little bit of clearer image there, and that's it. It does not change the style of the game.
Corporate greed.
You know what? Yeah, in all sense of it. And then so I think we dropped enough dungs on Abby for right now. Now the voice, I'm not talking about the voice actor or the people who they did tremendous work. And I'm actually trying to find the documentary where they're actually talking about, because the voice actors and the people who did the actors, they talked about the spoiler being given out in the game, and it tears at them because they felt so bad because the amount of work they put into it was just overdone in a single night.
Well, and I'm really happy that Laura Bailey, who voiced Abby, was able to. Well, she always did a bunch of different games and stuff, but Last of Us really put her name into the wrong spotlight because she was getting death threats and shit,
Yes.
and it's just never necessary for a work of fiction. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are, you got no business making death threats. And I'm glad that she does Critical Role and all these other things that can just put her name in other places other than just this one project that everyone. It was bad. It was ugly, and that's why when I criticize this game, I criticize the narrative, not the people in it.
I agree with that 1%. Like, and there's this goes for a lot of actors, voice actors. They get pigeonholed to one project, not realizing like they've done so much more since then. They've done so much. They've done so much more with what they could do and everything. And it's like, you know what? They're trying to reinvent themselves. Give them that chance to do that. But if they're literally just playing off the popularity of what the one thing they're done, fine. But if they're ultimately trying to reinvent themselves, get themselves better role, come out from that what they were stuck under, you can't knock them for that. You can't.
No. And I'll give you another non-person criticism with that game. The Last of Us was always about finding something to fight for and all that, and I get it. And I know they wanted to subvert expectations. The guy who wrote it said the first one's about love, this is going to be about hate. I get that. And I know he had that narrative. He wanted to show us how fucking miserable everybody is. Great. But as a consumer, as a gamer, why do you want me to sink in hours to a game that I know is just going to be sad? I'm not, and that's correction. I'm not asking for like everyone to be throwing flowers and having a great time every 5 seconds, but there's literally no hope in this entire game. I guess you could argue at the end when Ellie finds something better, but she ends up worse. She's missing fingers. She loses Dina. She loses the kid, and she's just by herself now. The biggest fear that she ever had happens. Because let's face it, they're never going to make a Last of Us 3 with the way that this one took so much shit. It is a never-ending conundrum of just all these characters getting worse. Even on Abby's side, I'll give her this. You're building her plot line around these kids and everything. Then one of the kids gets hurt. The girl gets like a broken arm or something, and you go to Mel and you're like, we got to fix her arm, whatever. So she goes on a whole subplot, hours and hours of gameplay to get this lady meds. And then the kid gets fucking killed anyway. So why did I play all that? There was no character development that taught me anything. The whole point was saving this kid, and the kid gets shot, and you're just like, all right, I'm losing the point, Ray. I'm losing the point.
And like, so because we're gonna dive in a couple more characters, but I do want to get this off my chest. When they announced The Last of Us 2, they just posted like Last of Us Part 2. I didn't see any trailer or anything like that. Here's my thought and like gameplay wise how this was gonna go, and I'm just gonna go on this for like 3 minutes because I know there's more characters we got to do.
Pop up.
My thought of it would have been this is my story for The Last of Us 2. The Fireflies are going to show up in Jackson the same way like you were talking about with Abby. They're going to find out that Ellie is still alive because they know her by name, not by face. They're going to kidnap Ellie, take her from Jackson, injure and hurt a bunch of people on the way of doing it. And then I'm going to say like Joel is not there when this happens because there's no way they're going to take her and Joel is still alive. Like absolutely not. And my thought of it is like Joel is away. Jackson gets attacked. They take Ellie. Joel and Tommy go on the way of going to track them and find them. Joel and Tommy get to talk about their past, why it was difficult being around each other, why was this, why was that, and they ultimately find closure in the things that they did, and ultimately like, you know what, I'm sorry I put you through that. I'm sorry I put you through that. For me, the game should have been about closure in difficult times, and that when the time ultimately came, because like when Joel came to die, they're rescuing Ellie, who you can bounce back to in the game, and she's realizing everything that Joel did, like the truth of it, because we could have pushed that out and have her find out her own way. She's finding out what Joel did, And then it comes to the point where they find out that even though taking what they needed from Ellie, it wouldn't make things better. Because the way they had to extract and the way they were doing it, there's a chance that it would work. It is not a 100% it will work. And she ultimately finds out not that Joel was lying, but that there's a possibility it will work. So there's a chance that her sacrifice would mean nothing. And this is ultimately a choice up to her of whether you are going to give your life for something that's going to work or not. And then she finds out like, hey, it's not going to work. And she's like, okay, I'm leaving. And they're not going to let her leave. And now the goal is to find and meet up with Joel. And then they meet up, but Joel ends up dying in a way that, let's say they get to the place, they rescue Ellie and they're leaving, and then they have their time to talk and converse and speak about everything that happened. Get all the hashes out, and then essentially, like, you know what? Let's try and make this work. I know that you lied to me. I get why you lied to me, but let's try. Like they did in The Last of Us 2. Like, let's try and like be, you know, let's try and be friends, not friends, but let's try and make this up. And then we have that conversation, and then ultimately Joel ends up dying in a way, and she realizes like, I never got the chance to actually make up with him. But she got the closure she needed with Joel in order to do that. And then we can take the plot to 2 points. We can have them take Joel's body back to Jackson, or her and Tommy, who is now the new Joel, or Ellie's the new Joel, and like Tommy's support character, and you take on the Fireflies as revenge, and ultimately you bring down the Fireflies, and you come to a point where it's like, okay, I can either get this act of revenge and get what I need to get the closure I need, or I can just let them go and realize I don't need this. I got the closure I needed from Joel. We were on good terms. I got the closure I needed. He told me the truth. We were in a way of fixing it. I got what I needed. I don't need this anymore.
I have always loved hearing your plots for shows and games over the years. This is a side note to that, because everything you just described, super interesting. Like I would want that to play out exactly as you said, because you're still hitting the same plot points. There's just more to actually keep somebody hooked and wanting to play.
Because
You start.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, because even with the what's officially canon, I mean, that plot just drags on with not much pushing it forward.
I agree. And like this also gives you a chance to, with the gameplay I was talking about, this gives you a chance to find and reunite with old characters, see Bill again and everything. There's a chance. Mm-hmm. There's a chance for you to go through Pittsburgh again in a different perspective, and like you go through that journey with Tommy, and like Tommy gets to slowly understand, wow, he went through this with this girl, and you understand why Tommy, and you can understand because Tommy says he understands why Joel did what he did, but going through the game and Joel explaining to him why he did everything he did and what they went through, Tommy can understand his choice on a whole new level now. He's able to understand, wow, they went through this together. This happened. They went through these struggles. And you can understand why this foundation of trust is so strong with both of them, and why we're here doing what we're doing. And that can ultimately come to the apex of like them having the closure, but they have each other. Like, Joel, I understand your choice now, and I can tell now I wouldn't have done it any other way. This gets the closure with him and Tommy, so that when Joel ultimately dies, there's no regrets, there's no secrets between them. I've said everything I need to say.
I hate to just use this loose term, but you reach a point where almost any plot sounds like it would have been better. And And something I'll say to that is I don't like when media lies through commercials and trailers, and I get it; it's supposed to like tease you and get you into it. But
Mm-hmm.
these were already established characters, and the very first trailer that they release has Joel coming into a abandoned shack because everyone went nuts in that auditorium, and he comes in and she says, "I'm going to kill every last one of them." So we think there's like this big storyline. We figured he was dead, but it just didn't deliver from there. And then you have that other scene with what was the release trailer? They replaced Joel with Jesse. So in the trailer, it looks like Joel's with her when he's like, "You didn't think I was going to let you do this alone." So everyone's all excited, and then it's actually a cop out. And he's not in that scene at all. So it's stuff like that pissed me off.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
genuinely upset. That genuinely really did it upset me. I'm like, you're showing us that like something. You're showing us something happened. We don't know what. Something happened that told us that she's leaving. She left without telling Joel, and that in a moment he saved her life. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" It's like this is my vendetta. And she's like, "I'm not leaving you to do this by yourself. We've gone through too much. Like you're expecting me, like I'm just gonna let you do this." And he's not telling her in a way of like like I'm dragging your butt back to Jackson. Like, I'm not letting you go through this alone. I didn't go through the first game with you alone, and you're not going through this game with me alone. We're doing this together. And that's the sense of what I got from the trailer. Not him dragging her back, saying like I'm your dad, like he's saying like whatever you're going through, I'm with you. And I'm not letting you go alone.
Well, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. And I really appreciate you sharing your plot for it because God, no, it just. I mean, they also had to be so careful with this second game. I know they wanted to do their own thing and not make it the same, but the cult following this first game had versus what it was going into that sequel, forget it. It was already under a magnifying glass, and everybody was going to jump on no matter what happened. And I just think they picked all the worst outcomes to have that crowd with a magnifying glass losing their minds.
They knew
And
from the cosplay and everything. They knew what they had. They knew what they had.
Well, and I think another great example too, and then I'll leave it at this point, is look at the performances from the HBO show. So season 1, critically acclaimed, everybody loved it. Some people didn't, but whatever. The second season, terrible. Why was it terrible? It reflects the game. It doesn't work as a narrative. It doesn't. So I just think that's the perfect example that the show had to fill in. They always had to fill in some blanks. They did that in the first one, but the season 2 really had to fill in some blanks because the game wasn't that interesting.
I honestly, so here's the thing. I love the actress that they picked for Ellie because I've seen her in other shows and like this is it. Like, I get it, I do. And there's some parts of me that I'm like, I wish they'd have waited a couple years for her to age up a little bit, so that like, because the thing is like she still looks the same as in the first season. And like when we see Ellie in The Last of Us 2, like in The Last of Us 1, she's 14. In The Last of Us 2, I believe she's 19, 20, I believe. She looks like an older, mature like woman. Like you see her, like you get her age in the game, obviously. But when you see her, like she seems like she's been through like this. It looks like almost like a 10-year gap when you see her again. It looks that way. And like even her voice changes a little more like from the game. Like it's like a little bit high pitched, but it's there, but it's deeper. And there's like, you could tell there's years of like growth and an experience gone after through that. But like with the show,
Yes.
she still has the same voice, and I don't see that much like difference mindset wise between the two. Like that's my thing with it.
But I do agree. and we'll see what they end up doing with this, because I guess they got renewed for a third season. Have you seen season 2 all the way?
I've seen all season 1. I still have to finish season 2. I think the latter half of it and everything.
No worries.
But I think if they're really pulling out season 3, this is going to be a very Abby heavy season 3.
And that's just it. Is like now they're trying to do what the game did with splitting them up, and it's just, excuse me. I don't know. But I do think that regardless of what comes next, The Last of Us Part 1 is a critically acclaimed game. They can never take that away, because that's the thing, is even if you don't like any of the new stuff, you always have the original to go back on.
Yep.
It works great as a solo game, even if it didn't get anything else. It was so successful that it not only got a show, it got an HHN house, which is not an easy feat for video games.
No, it is not.
To get, so that house was pretty fun too. Mm-hmm. But it's just a further example of the impact of that game.
I wonder, like, if they tease the idea of putting in like Last of Us 2 things in HHN house, the Rat King would be such a terrifying thing to see in an HHN house. Like, oh my gosh, especially if you played the game. What, man, bro?
Well, and see, that's the one of the good things I think about Part 2. Again, the gameplay's great. The AI is super hyper intelligent. They'll know when you fart and they'll find you. You got the Seraphites chasing you. You fart a little bit, and you hear those sharp whistles. They're like, "Ah, shit!" But the Rat King was also one of the best parts of that game. That was a really terrifying boss battle.
Yep.
And that would be the only reason I would see it going to HHN. I just don't think the rest of the season could carry it into a house for people to care.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they knew they dropped the ball, and they're like, you know what, let's just enjoy what we had, and we'll go on from there. And we'll talk about a season 3. If we can do a season 3, we're gonna have to make sure this story reflects the first game, not the second.
Yes.
And that's going to be a very, very difficult script, especially like the magnifying glass they're going to be on.
It's like Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans will kill you if you got the Glupshido's color wrong. Like the Jabba the Hutt's eyeball is a little too far to the left. Cancel. I'm just like, oh.
So
sometimes I get it though.
So let's jump into a couple more characters. So what was your? We're not gonna do canon events for them. Because there's just not enough information to go on. But for you, sure. What did you think of Bill?
I thought both between the game and the show, they gave us different Bills, and both were fine. I actually think, because a lot of people are like, oh, Bill's gay now. Bill was always gay.
Yes,
it's kind of he had a gay porn magazine. He was gay. And so that's not an issue. I think what The Last of Us, the show, did well is they built a whole narrative out of it. And they made it a lot more. That's a perfect example of something that can be happy but also tragic. And then with the game, that builds a lot more like the Doomsday Pepper guy got all the bags and the mask and this, and that's fine too. I just think the show got to expand on that. But Bill's fine. He has some of the funniest lines in the whole damn thing. He's like, "You bit? No, then move your ass."
I remember that. I remember what was it like? The voice things with him and Ellie, because I'm like, I can imagine her and him just going the rest of the way, and just like at this point, it's not even a serious game; it's a freaking comedy show. Like him and Joel talking like, what are you delivering? The brat? Like, ha ha ha, F you too.
Yeah. The same with when he goes with the cars. Like, why don't you just fix one of these cars? Oh, that's a great idea. Why don't I?
Like, okay, don't be a dick.
There you go. You can see, but that also shows you how memorable that first game is. That you just quoted something even with the same inflection, tone, and everything. And I can't do that with the second game. Nothing stuck out. I thought Mel and what's that man's name? Owen. That's just it. See, I don't remember that all these characters, they were just there. They were just there. I'm not like, oh, what a cool character that Mel, or oh, Owen, you card. I just none of them did anything for me, right? Nothing.
That and like the character now, I still like that still breaks my heart. Like it truly does what happened to
Yeah.
her. Like it even now, like I still like I still like support Nell because she got the back end of a stick that she shouldn't even had to deal with.
No. I mean, it was kind of fun watching that whole group shit themselves as Ellie came for them one by one.
And they knew. They
I mean,
knew.
what's the other one's name? Manny. Manny getting sniped by Tommy.
Bro,
That was
that
cool.
scared me. That terrified me. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." But you got to realize like Tommy's a crack shot. And like I didn't realize how much he was until they realized like, oh, he's on the roof. I'm like, he's on the roof and he's picking you guys off like this. I'm like, what? And then I forgot that, and they explore this in the show. Tommy was in the military. He was a sniper for the military.
Yeah.
It makes sense now. So like, whew.
I agree. Well, and who knows what he did with the Fireflies too. And I'm going to make this scene even crazier because you have Manny and Abby chasing this man, and then he goes under and closes the garage, and then they're like, "Oh, let's just go around. We don't want to sneak up on him." And the craziest part, when you think about it, is he fucking knew they were going to do that. He knew they would go around, so he already barricaded that door. So while they're pushing it, then he comes around the corner, snipes Manny. So that's just yeah. That's the scene you keep coming back to because that's Tommy.
And like all of us here, and here's the thing, like going back to Bill, when we all think about the zombie apocalypse and everything, we all think we're Bill. We're not Bill. There's no way in heck all of us are Bill.
No.
There's no way we're all Bill.
No. Yeah,
Bill knew what was happening. Bill prepared for it, and when it happened, he's like, "I told you. Like I knew it, and I'm ready for it." Everybody thinks they're Bill leading up to it. What we all ultimately realize, is that when everything comes down to it, we ain't Bill. We're Joel.
Mm-hmm.
We are ultimately
I
Joel.
use the toilet paper. Use the toilet paper example. We'll kill each other for this shit. We don't even need a full apocalypse. We would more people would go the Joel route than they think. It's like when most people watch these like crazy scenario movies, like or games like The Last of Us, and they go, "Oh, if I was in that scenario, I would do the right thing." Would you? Would you? We'll never know. But I like to think you might surprise yourself.
And it's like everyone wants to believe like I'm a prepper. I'll be ready for this. I'm like, when you tell people anything like I'm a prepper and everything like that, guess what that does? That puts you on a radar. Now people know where to go. They know where to rob you. They know how to get your stuff. A true prepper does not tell you what stuff they have. They just say, I'm just gonna deal with it. That's how you preserve yourself. I'm just gonna deal with it. You don't tell people what your step and situation is.
Well, and you certainly don't introduce yourself in a crowded room of strangers and Tommy and Joel. But I keep coming back to that point.
And then let's jump on to what'd you think of Tess? I actually really enjoyed Tess, both the show version and the game version. I like both versions of Tess. I really do.
I also enjoyed Tess. I like that they hint that she was kind of in a relationship with Joel. It's not that deep, it's not that connected, but they obviously were companions one way or another. I liked that. I think she's brutally honest. Because without her, because you want to talk about a canon event, she also motivates Joel, because without her telling him that he has to do this, I don't know if he would have fully committed.
Yeah,
and
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, and her death is a great example of him not wanting to even confront the stuff that happened with Sarah, because he's still held back by that. And fun fact, is for you like niche game people out there, is if you could usually do it with cheat codes because you don't have any good weapons by the beginning of that game, but if you go back with like New Game Plus and everything, once you close those doors, if you just like hang off to the side, those guys are going to come in. they'll eventually break through the door and the Fedra agents come in. If you kill them, you can go back out into the lobby and look at her body.
Is there a voice line afterwards or no?
I think it's the same voice line from if you're on the top of the balcony where
Ellie just says Tess. Okay.
Yeah. It's just that because I think it's like a proximity triggered voice line, but you can see her dead if you kill those guys and then go back down.
Okay. I did not know that. I know what to do now for my next gameplay now. Okay.
Yeah, a little game trivia for you.
All right, awesome. And then and going on the fact of like the brutal honesty, that was something that I believe Joel needed, because you couldn't sugarcoat things with Joel, because he had his own way of doing things, and Tess challenged that, not in a way of like, I'm better than you. It was like, is this really like how you're feeling about this? Like, is this really what you're thinking? Because if it is, it's poor and it's crappy. And I'm not telling you that to bogart your idea. I'm telling it's like, are you thinking with your head? Are you thinking in a sense of just revenge, or just like what it feels like in the moment? Tess thought things out, and like, okay, we're going step by step by step. And like, if something happens to the plan and the plan gets derailed, we find another plan and we keep going. And like, she lives in the moment, but she thinks things thoroughly. She's not letting her emotions get in the best of her.
And she's a cold-hearted bitch too. I remember one of my favorite lines is, I think you can follow me with this one. So she drops into the room. This first time you see Robert's guys. They start coming around that corner, and Joel's all like, "Oh shit," and she's like, "That's fine, it's fine." And the guy's all like, "You better turn around." She's like, "No, we want Robert." And he's like, "Bitch, I will bash your skull if you don't turn around right now." And she just goes fuck this and shoots him in the face.
and even then, like, they get to the final point where they see Robert. She's like, "Hey, Joel and Tessa become this way. Like, how do you know?" They took out two of our guys. She's like, and she shrugs. Joel's like, "They gave me no choice." Like, she just casually just shrugs it.
Yeah, well, that's what made her likable and fun, and that's another thing that, because I like making these comparisons, was missing from part 2. So nobody was likable. I didn't like anybody in that game. I tolerated them because I had to play the game, but nobody was like, haha, nice one. Like, I was like, y'all suck.
The one thing I did like is when you ultimately meet up again with Jesse. There's one point in it, it's very, very small, where like there's like a thing they brought back from the first games, like when Joel is crossing the dam. She's like teamwork, and they do the high five. They bring that back with Jesse's like high five, and it's like, you can either accept it or not. And I'm like, I like that. That was a nice touch.
Oh, I might have missed that. That's cool.
I think he's helping. She's climbing up, and he says, I forget exactly what he says, but he holds his hand up for a high five, and Ellie does like a jump and high fives, and he's like, yeah.
We love a good nod. That's great.
So, what did you think of? These are two characters. Like, I wish they could have stuck around just a little bit longer, but I get it. What did you think of Henry and Sam?
Oh God. It's a tragedy on tragedy. So I'm going to make some TV comparisons here. I think both versions were great. No notes on the actual character, because I actually like that in the show they expanded on that and they made Sam deaf, because I think that added a level of tension to it, that this kid can't even fucking hear them coming. And in the game, though, Sam and Henry, great little foil for Joel and Ellie, because Sam is almost, or Henry is almost like a more optimistic Joel.
Yeah.
The kind of group that, even as a kid playing through for the first time, I'm saying to myself, like, they could make a good group, because he's going to help Joel be a better, like have some joy in things again. And then Sam and Ellie might end up together. Who knows? But no, the game dealt with that real quick, and it's really fucking sad.
Yeah.
The suicide of Henry after having to shoot his own brother is wild.
Yeah.
Like, and
every person I see react to it, it's always the same. It's like, Oh my gosh. Like they're all caught off guard. And that's what the moment is. It's a moment to catch you off guard.
And I do have to give Bella Ramsey credit because in the show they show her perspective instead of Joel's, so you just see her reacting to him shooting himself, and it's class A acting. But no. But I think they're great characters. I think Sam has a line that has no business going as hard as it does, and it's after he's bit, he doesn't tell anybody, but he is looking outside and he's thinking about what happens when you get bit, and that's some deep shit because it makes you scared because you wonder like, am I still in control of my body? Am I dead already? And then he starts talking about heaven and hell and getting existential, and you're like, oh my god.
And this is coming from a kid. You would think this is coming from adult conversation. Like this is a kid. Yeah.
So it does question that faith, and it puts that into things. And I got two little notes here. I'm going to say one about Sam, one about Joel, just that comes up with faith. So it's like a blink and you'll miss it line, even if it isn't a main cutscene. But even after everything in those two games, Joel is some form of Christian.
Yeah.
Because when he's trying to apologize to Ellie, he says, if the Lord had given me a chance to do it all over again. And just with that line, so even with everything, he does have some degree of faith to use the Lord in that context. And then the other part I was going to say is just a fun little Easter egg that this is what when you have so many hours on a game, you start doing the weird shit. You start going into corners and being like, I wonder what happens if I throw this bomb, and you want to experiment because you know what happens. And I remember when you're in that little toy store in Pittsburgh, and
yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes,
that
yes.
robot. Yeah. So Henry tells him to put it down, and I said, I want to see when Ellie picks this shit up. So I'm like gently leaving the room, and I have the camera rotated so Joel has his back to her, but the camera's looking at her. The game is designed; she will not pick that up until you look away, and you have no choice but to look away. At one point, when you leave the room, she will stand there. She will stand there, and you will see her briefly crouch and pick it up. So it's just a nice little nod to that, and I thought that was really cool.
I remember saying that, and like when I played the first, I'm like, when did this happen? And I did the exact same thing. I'm like, I waited. I'm like, okay, she must not do it. And then all I see is like the toy gone and her putting her bag on. I'm like, I like that. Like,
yeah, she's quick, but she does it.
But to put a thing in with Henry and Sam, they're polarizing of like they're showing complete opposites of the Henry Sam dynamic and the Joel Ellie dynamic. Joel and Ellie is the result of what Henry and Sam could be if they trusted each other more. If Henry trusted Sam more and Sam trusted Henry more. Henry and Sam is the result of Joel being overprotective and remaining overprotective.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we can only wonder what if. You want a Marvel what if series out of Last of Us, that would be one. If they had lived, if they'd made it out. They were almost there too.
I honestly
think it's one of those scenes that
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's one of those things where you can't change the narrative, but God, you try every single time. Like when you're sniping as Joel and protecting him, and you try to kill that freaking clicker, and you know no matter how many times you shoot it, it's not going to die because it's scripted to bite him. But same thing.
And like I honestly believe like I believe 100% they would have made it with the Jackson, and I 100% believe they would have stayed in Jackson. They wouldn't have went with Joel and Ellie further, but I believe they would have stayed in Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came back, I can honestly see Ellie and Sam during that time between Last of Us 1 and 2 being like big besties, one, but Sam being that voice of like, I get what he did. I could see her talking to Sam about this, like, I get what he did. And I get that times, but think about what all you guys went through. Like genuinely honestly think about it. Like, do you think like he made that choice just so easily? You think he didn't think about the choice? And like I could see him being that voice of reason for her, because like up until like in Jackson, the only person that Ellie knows is Joel, Tommy, and Maria. She doesn't know anybody else in that town. And to have someone that's kind of like an outside perspective, like that's your age that you can converse and talk with, would be something good to, like I could see them even in the second game going out on runs together. It wouldn't just be Dina. I could also see Sam going with Ellie to go deal with this everything as well.
Yes. Sorry, my breath went out. And again, you are really good with these what if scenarios. You are good with creating these alternate universes where it'd be fun to see how these characters would play out, what kind of voices they would add to the dynamic.
And like even Sam going with, I could see Henry going after them, be like, Sam, what are you doing? He's like, look, they're the reason we made it to Jackson. I'm making sure she gets what she needs. We owe her that much. We owe her this. And I can see Henry being like, you know what? You're right. We're gonna let this. We're gonna ride this out. And I could see Henry getting picked off. There'd be some resentment between her and Sam, but ultimately them still staying friends.
And then you kill Sam, and that would be way deeper.
Whew, man, good. and then last but certainly not least, what did you think of Dina?
Oh, Dina. What a good way to wrap this up. So, Dina grew on me. At the beginning, I wasn't sure how important she was going to be. I wasn't sure how important Dina was going to be. As I liked her as a companion to Ellie throughout the whole Seattle journey.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was fine. The pregnancy thing caught me by surprise.
Yeah, that was like, oof.
And then, see, all right, this is going to be all over the place. I'm just warning you in advance. Because they were fine together. I liked the reveal. That was fine. The reveal of, like, I'm not actually infected. The mask, that was really clever. She almost took her freaking mask off. And raising Jesse's baby it is what it is, I guess. Tommy pulling them back into that. Dina's justified. I will say that. 100% Dina was justified to leave because Ellie was never going to stop. The unstoppable force met the immovable object because Ellie was never going to stop until she got revenge. Dina was never going to stop living her life. She didn't want to go back to that. She almost died. Everybody almost died.
Yeah.
And, Abby literally had her under her knife. And one little gripe I'm going to say about Tommy real quick with this. I know it's a game and we're supposed to suspend disbelief, but you're telling me that all those perils to get to Seattle, and then Abby shoots Tommy in the back of the fucking head. Dina's all messed up. Ellie, who's arguably the only defense they have left, gets her arm broken and she's all messed up. Jesse is dead, and you're telling me that the three of them, Tommy with a gunshot wound in his head, and Dina's pregnant, and Ellie's all broken up, made it back to Jackson. I hate you. I hate you. What is this? See, that's where I lose it. Where I'm like, what, huh? Who? Because you watch that bullet. You watch that bullet go straight through that man's head. We thought he was dead, and I know it's supposed to that we think he's dead, but then he's just blinded one eye, and I'm like, I hate it. What? So tying that back into Dina, if they somehow made it, I can't imagine the traumatic experiences to get back. I don't blame her for leaving. I don't blame her for being like, I'm done.
I completely understand. I could see Dina sitting Ellie down like, listen, you almost died multiple times. I was pregnant. We have a kid now. There was a knife to my throat. She shot Jesse with no resistance. No resistance, mind you. Like she didn't bat an eye. She killed him in cold blood. She was inches away from killing Tommy. Tommy almost died. The best he got was a lost eye and an injured leg.
That's right.
And had I not been pregnant, both of us would have died. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Both of us would have died. You're willing to take all that, put it aside, and go after this person. We're at a point right now. I get that you have PTSD. I get it. But right now, if we go after them, there's a chance you and I are not going to make it back, which means that kid is being left with no parent.
Yes.
Tommy,
So
and
she
if,
makes
and
the
the thing,
logical decision.
and the thing also is that, like, if they fail, Tommy will never know, because something tells me if Tommy saw both of them leave, based on the way the conversation went, they wouldn't come back.
No, not at all. They would be no. Oh shit, she's still back. No, that's just it. And even then, I just oh god, literally everybody ended up worse at the end of that game. Dina was alone with the baby. Ellie's alone. Tommy lost Maria because after all that, Maria left him. So you're just left with this hopelessness that.
And Jesse's parents, they lost their son.
That's right. That's right. Everybody lost, and I cannot just root for Abby. It's hard because I get it. All these people lost. They hammer you over the head with this motif that the quest for revenge is bad. Yeah, I get it. And I'm supposed to root for Abby and Lev now that they're on their way to find the Fireflies. The Fireflies were barely in this fucking game. Like, it's just. I could go on forever. I could go on forever, Ray.
The thing I would have liked to have seen, though, and like I know they're not going to do it, but the one thing I would have liked to have seen, and I haven't explained this, I haven't said this to you earlier. If even if everything had still happened and Owen and Nell had still died, and like if Abby had become pregnant, I would have liked to have seen that ordeal, how it would have gone. I'm like, I'm literally carrying his kid right now, and then it's going to be the flashbacks after flashbacks after flashbacks. I'm like what is this going to do to her? She's going to one, be like, Owen's not here. I'm doing the one thing that Nell was supposed to do. Now she's traumatized by that, and it's like that's what I thought was going to happen. That's why I thought that hookup scene was ultimately going to be about. Like she is like
Right.
like that was going to happen. So I don't know, but for one
to be revealed.
yeah, for one last one, we're gonna do one last topic and then we're gonna wrap this up. We're probably gonna keep this a little bit short.
Sure.
The gameplay wise,
Yeah.
how did you do your gameplay? Were you the stealth Skyrim archer, like shooting from a distance, or were you up close and brutal?
I was the wannabe stealth Skyrim archer that failed every time. If you ever want to have fun, you watch these YouTube people that have like 10 billion hours on Last of Us 2, and they're doing like fucking trick shots and shit, and they're sending one sniper round through like 8 people, and they're John Wicking Ellie. Ellie's just John Wick, and it's impressive because I can't even get the headshot. And I was that person that was like, oh yeah, no, I was so stealthy and good in the first game, and now I can go prone. What could go wrong? Yeah, no. Every encounter, I maybe would stealth like 1 or 2 people, and then everybody be on my ass because they'd be like, "Oh, we found her," and I'd be shitting myself in a corner. But so that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with wannabe Skyrim Archer, but not
My very first gameplay. I was a very much like kind of like you. I stealthed 2 people, but if the situation did not call for calm, I was a brutal force to not be messed with. Because I used those melee weapons to effectiveness. I used that bat. I used that 2x4. I used that pole to take them out. I was a stern force. You don't screw with me. And I don't care how brutal it's gonna look. I'm gonna blast you away with that shotgun.
fun. It was fun saving all the ammo until the final level in the hospital in that first game, because it's almost like it's that part is supposed to be played like a shooting spree rampage. You're not, yeah, you have to be stealthy, especially if you're on a harder difficulty, but it's meant that Joel is terrifying to the Fireflies. And it's also just fun to say, like, I saved all my bombs for this part.
And like with that part, after they realize like he just took out an entire floor of guys.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure, or even after the hospital scene, and they realize what he did. I'm pretty sure, like in my mind, I'm like, do we really want to go after him? Like, think about it.
Like, nope, I'm good.
It's like one guy did all this. One guy did all this. Do you really want to go after him? And like you'll hear Abby say, like, yeah, he killed my dad. He did this himself. We have bodies for days, bodies for days, bodies for days.
That is true though, because it's like, first of all, he killed two of your dads, Abby, because that man in the first game is not the man in the second game. They did a reskin of the whole Doctor. But either way, no, you tell me, Joel is somebody that I want on my side. If he is an enemy, I should just make it easier for him and run towards him so this ends quicker.
Because and that's what people like contrast the Joel from the Sec games. Like, are you sure this is the same Joel? Like Joel, and Joel was a man on a mission with a shotgun. No, more or less, not his revolver. Like, this man knew what he was doing.
Yeah, no, he's bashing people's faces in. He's stepping on people's faces.
And I even point this out. And you probably see this too. In the room when they're all together, Joel is in the center of the room.
Yeah.
His back is turned to people, but Tommy's is against the wall, and he's the closest to the door. That would be me. I'm against the wall. I'm near the door. That if we need to leave, we can get out of here quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm not, especially if it's strangers. I'm not standing in the center of the room where I can be attacked on all different angles.
Well, it's just bad writing, for lack of a better term. It's just zero survival instinct.
But so I haven't finished Last of Us 2. How did you play Last of Us 2? Was there a different style of playing at that point?
Trying to think. I think I started thinking I could play this game like the first one, and then I spent most of my playthrough of The Last of Us 2 just shitting myself in corners. I'm not even joking. Because they added so many things. They added so many enemies. You kill one dude, and the other dude knew him by name because they had beers every Sunday night. So he'd be like, "Timothy, no!" And they would track you down. They had dogs. It was too much to take like the first game. I also remember, because I played the first one so much, I had strategies. Here, I was like, I don't fucking know where I'm going. So very scary, but the gameplay was still fun. Regardless, the gameplay was better than the story.
Yeah, I will say that. So I've seen your videos on Instagram, and I'm gonna put this scenario into you. You are in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll have you pick this first, and then I'll give you a narrative. Which area would you like to be from the first game? If you had to fight infected, what area would you like to be in?
Oh God. I'm gonna go with Jackson.
Okay, so you're all right. So you're in Jackson. You have one. You have the choice between either a hunting rifle fully upgraded or a shotgun fully upgraded. You have one pistol of your choice, and one melee weapon and one bomb. Now,
okay.
Now the town is being overrun. You are forced to fight 10 of these, but the max amount of ammo that you would have is 1 clip and a half of a fully upgraded weapon.
Oh, no.
What weapons are you picking? And
right.
what is your fight style?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna go with the hunting rifle. Because are we saying if it's physically me or if I'm playing the game and I get to pick?
This is physically you.
Oh shit! The shotgun then, because I don't trust myself to hit anything from far away. In the game, I'd say, "Oh yeah, sure, sniper." I don't trust my aim. I can't do all that math and start calculating shit of where the wind is. No. So I will be last resort shotgun waiting if they come by. If we're talking pistols, because let's face it, the revolver's good in the game, but in real life, you got 6 shots. You got to fill that. I would rather have a clip that just keeps going. It's got like 12 in there. So I'm going to do that. If we're talking explosives, just give me a bunch of Molotovs. I can yeet those things. That's fine. And hopefully I'll hit something. But what else did you ask? Or was that it?
Yeah, one melee weapon.
Melee weapon. One melee weapon? Okay. I don't trust myself with a blunt object because I feel like I would clang it the wrong way. I don't know. I just don't trust myself. I'm clumsy.
Also, for your melee weapon, this is an unlimited striking melee weapon. It will not break.
Oh, the machete.
Okay.
The machete. The machete. We chopping.
Gotcha. Now here are your enemies. You're fighting 10 enemies. This is just you and Jackson for right now. Everyone else is dealing with their own thing. You're fighting 10 enemies. What 10 enemies are you fighting? And this is the zombies from. These are infected from both games that you have to consider. Would you rather face more runners, more stalkers, clickers, a bloater, or the rat kings? Like, tell me your scenario.
God, they only get worse. I unfortunately am just going to go with runners because those are going to be the easiest. They're still human, some, so I could pop them off. Anything beyond that, we're screwed. The stalkers are going to attack us like velociraptors. Clickers, it's over. The rat king, why even try? The shambler, aka the Coronasaurus Rex, is just going to come in here and fart on everybody, and I got a big nose, so I'm going to breathe it all in and die before anybody else. So I'm going to go with the runners in the hopes that I can kill them.
All right, and then okay, so and wrapping this up, what were your 3 favorite guns of both games? And we'll wrap it up there. What were your 3 favorite guns of each game?
Ooh, these are easy. Okay, first game, hunting rifle. The revolver, especially because if you played on grounded mode, the revolver was a one-shot on anything that wasn't a clicker. One-shot kill.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
And, oh, yeah, it's almost like they took pity on you. They said, we know the difficulty sucks, so at least this gun can kill somebody with one shot.
Okay, nice.
And then, oh, by the way, and for hunting rifle, I'm going to say it's that one that Joel steals from the hunters at the top of the roof just because it had unlimited ammo. And it was just, it's fun because you just get some time to just snipe things because you can. Third weapon, I'm going to say, okay, flamethrower. Flamethrower was always a classic.
Nice.
That was just fun to use around the college level. Now, second game, a little messier here. Did the second game have a flamethrower? I don't think so.
It did not. As far as I know, it did not.
Okay. Well, that's why I didn't like it. There's no flamethrower. All right. I'm going to go with classic shotgun because that was just perfect for anything that came up close. Even you could shotgun a bloater if you got it right.
Oh,
and then similar to the last game, I'm going to say the hunting. I hated bows. Bows in this game, fuck off. Skyrim bows, great. Bows in Last of Us, I was just really bad with them. That's me with a skill issue. It's not them. It's not you, baby. It's me. And then the last weapon between the shotgun, the hunting rifle, the assault rifle that Abby got to have. Because for once in this game, we actually got to have a consistent machine gun.
No, yeah. I can, unless you're playing the new game plus, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. That's true. Oh, yeah, not Abby. She gets it. Ellie gets it. Abby has like a burst rifle.
Yeah.
Ellie gets that suppressed machine gun that I like.
And I like that in when they brought The Last of Us out and they brought The Last of Us in the remaster for the PS5, they gave you some of the mechanics from the second one. So you could get silenced weapons, and I think you could get explosive arrows in The Last of Us 1 for the PS5. So I'm actually glad they flip-flopped with a lot of that stuff, because it was really cool to actually see.
Yes, I agree with you.
Because I'm pretty sure Joel knew how to make all those things. We didn't see them until The Last of Us 2, because they wanted to have a new concept for it, obviously.
Right, and those workbenches were fun too. The animation they showed, like the full guns being fixed up, and it was good.
But it is ultimately time, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to say goodbye for now. Not for good, but for now. But this has been a very, very in-depth conversation to honestly one of the best games to ever been released, not just on console, but just ever on any type of console, any type of whatever we play our systems on now. When this video is released, it is still one of the greatest games that I've ever played. If I get a new console or system, whatever it is, I always tend to get 2 to 3 games every single time. I get Skyrim, I get The Last of Us, and I get Assassin's Creed every single time.
Heck yeah. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, definitely. We love having you on. The last episode we did was the Obi-Wan Kenobi episode, which is uploaded on the channel right now for those that do want to listen. But it's always good to have my buddy here. And then the next topic that you and I'll be doing will be, honestly, I don't know, but we'll figure that out.
Yes, absolutely. There'll always be more.
But but the immortal words of Bear in the Blue House, we're gonna say goodbye now.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.